and my presentation is on energy efficiency effects on residential energy consumption in the United States. So, as we are aware, for the past several decades, environmental protection and sustainable development have been increasing in importance. For instance, in the 1970s, the United States had the Environmental Protection Agency created in response to Rachel Carson's A Silent Spring. In 1995, we had the World Trade Organization that was created, and it noted the importance between the environment and the movement of goods and trade. For instance, by 2014, it created the Environmental Goods Agreements, where it sought to eliminate the tariffs on goods that helped promote the environmental movement. Going back to 1996, though, with the International Standards Organization, they created the ISO standards 14001 that helped provide certification for environmental management. And by 1999, even companies and investors began looking at environmentalism and sustainable development when the creation of the Dow Jones Sustainability Indexes. And to just highlight the importance and the increasing popularity with these movements, in 2007, even Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, which looked at climate change, could win an Academy Award. So as we're having all these events and these organizations being created, one of their common focuses has been on energy. It's been looking at using renewable energy, such as wind and solar. They've also been looking at using the green technology and improving energy efficiency. One of the resulting technologies from this was LED lighting, which just refers to a device that emits a visible light when an electrical current passes through it. Now, although LED lighting existed even before those organizations did in the 1970s, as you can see from the graph with the purple, LED lighting since 2013 has increased in market share by about 25% up to 2016. As indicated by the red, though, with incandescent lighting, its relative market share has decreased from about 75% to about 10 to 20%. Now, part of this is because countries are phasing out incandescent lighting. However, another reason for this is just because of the growing awareness of LED lights' benefits. LED lights consume less energy. They use only about 25% of the energy used by incandescent lighting. So they're more efficient, and more of this energy that they do consume is converted into light rather than heat, so they're also safer to use. Furthermore, LED light prices have been decreasing, so it's becoming more affordable for consumers to use these new products. However, despite this increase in efficient technologies, such as LED lighting, the United States Energy Independence Administration still predicts that energy consumption in the world will increase by about 48% from 2012 to 2040. This then creates the question of, as we're having more efficient and efficient technologies, are these technologies truly effective in reducing energy consumption and reducing then the externalities associated with producing this energy, such as pollution? So with my objective with my research, I look to determine if LED lighting is actually contributing to this increase in residential energy consumption. And looking to the past literature, they formalized this concept through the idea of the rebound effect. And there are two general types. The first type is the direct rebound effect, where consumers have this more efficient technology, and they increase their use of it. So in the specific instance of LED lighting, consumers purchase this technology, and they may leave their lights on longer. So this increases their total energy consumption. With the indirect rebound effect, consumers purchase this technology, they gain savings from it, then they go out and use those savings on other appliances and other technologies and other goods that would increase their total consumption or use. So once again, with LED lighting, then they use the LED lights, they gain energy savings, then they go out and spend their energy savings on, say, a new washer or a new dryer that would increase their total energy consumption. And so for a more specific example from an actual study, looking at the European Environmental Agency, which is actually part of the European Union, they found that from 1990 to 2009, the energy efficiency in their countries that they studied actually increased by 24%. However, the household energy consumption decreased by about 0.8%, But the rebound effect did occur by the fact that this decrease in energy consumption per household was not as large as it could have been. This was due to consumers increasing the number of electrical appliances that they have, as well as having larger homes. With the next two research, however, they differ in their results. So with Horowitz, he focused on analyzing the state's commitment to energy efficiency programs. And he related this to their effects on electricity demand. With Hitz, however, he analyzed a specific instance of the rebound effect through customer surveys, and he was analyzing to see if the energy efficiency increases would end up in decreasing that energy consumption. And what they found was that with the state's commitment to energy efficiency in the residential sector, decreasing energy intensity actually led to an increase in energy consumption. And decreasing energy intensity can relate to a decreasing cost of that energy, since energy intensity does refer to the per unit of energy as per unit of GDP. With Hitz, however, he found that with only moderate increases in energy consumption, this led to a very small probability of this rebound effect occurring. However, he did note that future rebound effect could occur and erode some energy savings, but this really remains contingent on the effectiveness of energy efficiency programs, population changes, and any behavioral changes. So with my research, I emulate Hitz by looking at the specific instance of LED lighting, but I take it to a national scale like Horowitz. And so what I did was I ran an ordinary least squares regression using 97 monthly observations from December 2005 to December 2013, where I was predicting the United States residential energy consumption. I then used 9 independent variables that would either approximate the LED data or would represent factors affecting energy consumption. And these variables include the stock prices for 2 LED manufacturers, Cree and General Electric, the Department of Energy's budget for energy conservation, renewable energies, and energy efficiency programs, the 2007 Energy Independence Security Act dates, which helped impose new standards on on more efficient technologies, an import index relating to ventilation, heating, and refrigeration equipment, the number of U.S. housing permits, the amount of the United States population, the United States recession dates, and the average temperatures for 48 contiguous states. And so, as you can see from my data, the United States residential energy consumption had a very low variation throughout those years, whereas with the U.S. Department of Energy's budget for those energy efficiency programs, it's had a very large variation over the years, which could suggest the changing, the shifting movement towards environmentalism and sustainable development. And so I hypothesized that the United States Department of Energy budgets, the Energy Independence Security Act dates, the recession dates, stock prices, and the average United States temperatures for 48 states would have an indirect effect, whereas the population, the number of housing permits, and the import index would have that direct relationship with residential energy consumption. And when I ran my regression, I found that only the stock price for Cree, the Energy Independence Security Act dates, the U.S. recession dates, and the average temperatures for 48 contiguous states were significant, but because of the high multicollinearity, the high amount of relationship movement between the independent variables, then I reran the regression multiple times, dropping one variable at a time until the multicollinearity decreased, was no longer present, was no longer above 0.7 or below negative 0.7, and I was left with the United States average temperature for 48 contiguous states as my only significant variable. As you can see, my adjusted R-squared did decrease from 48% to about 42.04%, so the variation in my independent variables explaining the variation in residential energy consumption did decrease. This could suggest that I removed a variable that I should not have removed, but ultimately, with my conclusion, I found that there was no significant relationship between LED lighting and residential energy consumption, but there was a indirect significant relationship between temperature and residential energy consumption. And this suggests that that rising temperatures increase the need for cooling rather than for heating homes. And because the costs for cooling are less than the cost for heating, this does suggest that cooling requires less energy than heating. So as temperatures increase, then energy consumption does decrease. The other potential explanation for this relationship would be that because we have increasing temperatures, this increases the awareness for the potential for global warming. And as we have the more potential for global warming, then we may need to increase the number of energy efficiency programs that are effective. However, because of the limitations of my first model, where I only use stock prices really to approximate the LED data, because of data limitations, I am hopefully going to be looking at electricity sales per customer. So this would be looking at the consumption per customer and take it more to an individual level, where I will be including retail price for the electricity and emulating Horowitz's study by using degree days instead of the average temperature. But ultimately, with this research, I hope to show that although it's important that we are having this movement towards supporting environmentalism and sustainable development, there does need to be an emphasis on the effects of this new, more efficient and efficient technology, as well as the effectiveness of the technology in our programs. Thank you very much.